get your lower back, or sort of like your coccyx, your tailbone, at the edge of your blanket, and then just get yourself a little bit comfortable. So you do have to sort of adjust a little bit. For me, it's quite nice to have, I quite like a little bit of support. So my bottom is on the ground and the blanket sort of starts at my lower back, and that gives me the chance to rest my head on there and just have that support there. So it's almost, if you're on a bolster, you'd be a lot higher, and your back, your left and right side ends up sort of dropping down. But even just with a rolled up blanket, you can get that that restorative pose there. So you can start to drop the shoulders left to right, making sure that you're not opening up through the throat, chin slightly tucked, and just settle in here. So your hands can be wherever you want them to be. And just notice. You can keep the knees bent or you can take them out straight. It's entirely up to you. And just settle in. So I really want you to go a little bit inwards this evening using that breath. So the breath can be a bit like your soundtrack. Okay, so that you can just listen out for. You can introduce the Ujjayi breath here as well. And you're really just paying attention to how the body feels. How the mind feels. And just get used to the fact of being here, of not having to do anything. And that's not something that becomes easy to people. Sometimes it can be very tricky just to do nothing. So just take a couple of breaths here. I was reading this book recently on Ayurveda. So it's like the sister side of nutrition and things for yoga and for the body. And there was a story of a man that had an Ayurvedic treatment, and then he was advised to go home and do nothing and just relax. And he went home and he thought, brilliant, he would fire up his laptop, he had some emails to do, you know, he was lying on his sofa, didn't really have a lot else he could do, so he thought that was no problem. And his therapist called in to see him and said, no, you can't be doing that, you're still doing something, you need to be doing nothing. And then again, he decided that he would start to read a book, because that's not sending emails, that's a book, and reading is relaxing. And again, his therapist said, no, you're still doing something. So then he decided to start listening to some music and put his own soundtrack on, and he was listening to songs, and the therapist again said to him, you are doing something. I want you to try to do nothing. And advised him to go and sit in a field and just watch the trees and the wind and the grass blow and lie down and do nothing. And it's hard for us all. We don't often have the chance to do nothing. And if we sit down and start to do nothing, we almost feel like we should be doing something. So I want you to take 4 more breaths here and just relish in that moment of doing nothing. Just notice that breath. Notice how perhaps it's slowed and become lower, deep into the belly. Take one more breath here. Feel free to keep your eyes closed, or if you want to, you can gently open the eyes. And we're simply just going to get some movement through the body, rolling over onto one side, allowing yourself to come up, moving yourself off your back, but keeping the blanket. So perhaps folding the blanket a different way now, just so you can sit on top of the blanket, cross-legged. Maybe bringing one heel in and the other out in front, and just notice. So come into Sukhasana, have the hands relaxed wherever they're comfortable. So still trying to stay with that conscious breathing, with that breath. Again, that Ujjayi breath. Inhaling through the nose. Slight restriction at the back of the throat. And exhaling through the nose, again with a restriction at the back of the throat. Softening through the hips, through the lower back. See if you can just relax there, but maintaining that length through the spine. Taking another breath here. With the right foot in, or whichever foot, you can switch it over in a minute, doesn't matter. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. You can open your eyes now if you want to, or you can be guided by my voice. On an exhale, keeping the hips rooted, just folding forwards, walking the hands out, a bit like paws of a cat. They don't have to be too far, maybe they're a bit closer towards the body. Just relaxing through the head. So we've done this before. Just find that breath. Maybe you can bring the forearms down to the ground, but really choosing to relax through the shoulders, so the shoulders start to drop away from the ears. Take another breath here. And then inhale, start to make your way back up. Just switch the legs, sending the other one in and the other one out. Repeating again, so from here, roll the shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall. Full breath. Exhale, start to fold forwards. So trying to keep the hips as rooted as you can here. And again, just notice the breath. Notice how the body feels, feeling that stretch in that front leg hip. So whichever foot you've got in front, perhaps you can feel it in that hip. One more breath here. Inhale, slowly walking up. From here, just bringing the soles of your feet together, so coming into our cobbler's pose, maintaining that height with the blanket behind us, so just gives us a little bit more space through the spine and allows us to sit up a little bit taller without causing any tension. So just notice the feet, maybe bringing your thumbs to the inner arches, just giving your feet a little bit of a massage. Maybe noticing how lovely your feet are. Maybe they need some more care and attention. Mine are looking forward to being back in flip-flops again when the weather improves. And then holding on to the feet, so either wrapping the hands around or holding on to the ankles. You're going to start to take that length. So again, we've done this many times. In the last couple of weeks, we've done this. Just get a little bit of movement through the neck. So take that length, arms are straight. You're pulling gently against the feet. The feet are pushing towards each other and also into your hands, activating through the hips. On an exhale, maybe bringing your arms, your elbows left to right, just gently allowing them to arrive on the knees, like the inside of the knees decreases. And maybe as you fold forward, you can use those elbows to perhaps just gently guide the knees a little bit closer towards the floor. I'm going to take 3 breaths here, so breathing deep into that belly. Exhaling fully. Relaxing through the head. Noticing how your body feels. That audible breath. Inhale, slowly rolling yourself back up. And then from here, just bringing your knees together, so you can bring your feet together. I want you to see, you might not be able to bring your knees all the way in, just depends on how you are in your hips. Just see if you can wrap your arms around your knees and just bringing your chin in towards your chest. Maybe you can even bring your forehead down towards the top of your knees. Just giving yourself a nice hug. Really gazing inwards here. Nice deep breaths. So again, holding these poses just for a little bit longer this evening, taking some focused breaths. Inhaling to make that space. Exhaling to soften and release. Inhaling gently, coming back up. From here, remaining seated, so keeping that blanket underneath if you've got one. If you're not feeling comfortable here, you can always take the blanket out of the way. And again, just adjusting, getting comfortable in a wide-legged seat. From here, open up through the shoulders. Settle in. Deep breaths. Maintaining that length through the spine and that groundedness, that rootedness through the body, through those legs. From here, gently bringing your left hand just over towards the outside of your right thigh. So I'll give you some variations here. So just bringing your left hand over, so you felt this sort of cross over the front of the body with the arm. We're going to inhale, lifting the right arm up, and then just leaning towards the left side, using this left hand to just anchor in, taking that stretch from that right hip all the way up the right side. If this is too much, bring that left hand down to the earth on the left side and you can stretch it. So it's entirely up to you where you want to be. This can take practice actually with this left arm over. It's very different. It can feel sometimes a little bit restricted through the front. So notice if you feel like you need that space, take that left arm out to the left side. Wherever you are, take another breath. Find softness. Softness through the neck, through the face, through the jaw. Inhaling, gently coming up. Releasing right hand down. Roll those shoulders. Just take a moment to reset. And then we're going to bring right hand onto the left side, or again, it can come down to next to the right hip, entirely up to you. On your next inhale, take that left arm up. Exhale, reaching over towards the right side. So we're not coming forwards here, we're just taking that stretch all the way through that left side of the body, rooted down through the hips. And again, those exhales to soften, finding that ease, that sukha. Tapping into that breath. Creating lots of lovely space throughout the body. One more breath here. Inhale, slowly coming back up. Releasing that left arm down. Roll those shoulders forward and back. And then inhale, just gently tracing the hands up past the ears, so the elbows are bent, just slowly reaching the arms up. Taking the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, just turning at the waist towards the left. Keeping the arms up. Exhale here. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale here. Exhale again. Inhale back to center. Exhale, activate through the feet, and then just start to lean forward with the body. Hands can come wherever. So maybe they're just out in front. Maybe you stay here, rooting through the hands and just dropping the chin in towards the chest. Maybe you walk the hands a little bit further, dropping forearms down, maybe the head towards the floor. You decide what works here. Feel free, if you're not happy with the blanket where it is, you can remove it out of the way. You're going to take 3 breaths in this forward fold. Breathing deep, activating through the feet. I could almost guarantee that you'll be holding somewhere in the shoulders, in the legs. Use that breath to really soften. Really, really soften down. Each exhale like you're melting a little bit closer towards the floor. Inhale, start to walk yourself back up. Lovely. Okay, from here, keeping the blanket where it is, just bringing the feet out the front. So we did this last week. Hands can face behind you or towards you, entirely up to you. Just get a little bit of movement in towards the hips, so they don't have to come far, just easing through. You can lean back a little bit into the shoulders if you want to, or keeping that chest open, so it's entirely up to you. And then from here, we're going to come into a squat. Okay, so if a squat isn't necessarily something that's really restorative for you, you can use the blanket to boost yourself up, or blocks to sort of place your heels on. You can also come down and take the knees wider. So if you imagine you were in a squat, bringing the knees in towards your chest. This is the same thing, apart from it's flipped up the other way. So it's a little bit like this. You could be here, but maybe just give it a go. So I'm going to use the blanket a bit more this evening, so you can really start to get a bit of height here. Coming into a squat, you can even put your heels on that blanket, so you've got a bit more height, maybe taking the feet wider. If you want to, you can bring some blocks in, stack them up if you've got them, or extra cushions to allow yourself to almost sit down. So I'm actually just sat here now, okay? So you can have that root, but I do want you to have that awareness in your feet, and that anchor. So I do want us to be able to see if we can bring our elbows towards the knees and be here. Wherever you are, just get comfortable. You can be in a squat, you can be on your back. Just settle into the breath. We're not here for too long. Just want you to find that root, that groundedness, and know that there's other ways that you can come to this position. If you don't need the block or blanket, feel free to take the squat, malasana, in another way. Full breath. On an exhale, bring your right hand down towards the earth. Anchor this right elbow in towards the inside of that right leg and just reach that left arm up. Maybe it doesn't come high, maybe it's just out to the side. Really reaching, relaxing through the shoulders. Take a breath. Exhale, return the left arm down. And then reach the right arm up. 2 more breaths here in this squat. Exhale, release the right hand down. Inhale, hands come to the chest. Exhale, we're going to come up. So pushing through the feet, slowly lifting yourself up. You can move your blanket and block or anything you've got just gently off the mat. Coming into a forward fold. So your feet can be wider than hip width this evening if you'd like to. And just gently get some movement in here. You can clasp the opposite elbow. Just moving through, so just allowing that ease in the lower back. Finding your breath. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Using that exhale to really let go. Maybe walking your hands all the way over towards the right side, twisting through the waist, getting that good stretch in the right leg, and then walking it all the way to the left. Really using the breath here. Coming back to center. Just gently start to heel toe the feet out wider. Wider than hip width. They don't have to be super wide, but just a little bit wider. And then gently, we've done this before, bring that right hand down, maybe on the fingertips, and just gently start to peel this left arm up. Now this left hand can either kind of wrap round and hook in to the right hip, so it comes round your back and hooks in here. Or you can just start to lift up that left arm towards the ceiling. Take up space, maybe coming onto the fingertips of that right hand. Really reaching. Exhale, release. Repeat on the other side. Inhale, take that right arm up. Left hand rooted. Full breath. Exhale, bringing right hand down. Full breath here in this forward fold. And then gently just walking the feet all the way in. Underneath the hips. Hands come to the feet, soften through the knees. And inhale, just start to roll yourself up. Coming into your mountain pose. From here, just pausing briefly in mountain. Reach your hands all the way up above the head. Exhale, folding forwards. And then from here, just bending the knees and just stepping straight back into a downward dog. Just pedal the feet, get a little bit of movement in here. Lower knees down towards the floor on your next exhale. Inhale into our cow pose. Exhale, rounding into cat. 2 more of these. Really allowing that breath to move you. The breath comes first, the movement follows. Really trying to fine-tune that collaboration between the both, between the breath and the movement. Curl your toes under. Inhale, start to lift those hips up. Exhale, just gently walking your feet to the front of your mat, forward fold. Take a breath. You can sway left to right here also. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Bending the knees, bringing the hands to the floor, stepping feet back, downward dog. 1 breath. On your next exhale, lowering your knees down. Just going to tie my hair up, it's getting in the way a little bit. And then from here, just lowering chest and chin. So chest and chin come down to the floor, reaching through with the chest, maybe lifting up into an upward facing dog or a cobra. Exhale, pushing back. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk you through a little, you'll think it's crazy to do this in an evening class, but I don't want it to be, I want it to be something that's quite focused and chilled. And it's only a prep, but you can take it further if you want to, and you can use your blankets to help. So put your blanket in front of you at the front of your mat, and then just gently bringing your hands in front of that blanket on your mat so that they're shoulder sort of distance apart, okay? From here, you might need to walk your knees further forward. I want you to see if you can bring the crown of your head to rest on your blanket. So by that, sort of 8 fingers. So if you imagine your forehead and then 4 fingers back, this part of your head. So we're going to come down. You're going to tuck your chin and just bring your forehead, your crown of your head to your mat. Keeping the arms in. Just come to this position first of all, and then just lift the hips. Okay, so this is a bit like our downward dog. Notice, how does that feel? Sometimes you might think, okay, that feels too much in my head. It could be that there's too much blanket. It could be that you're not on the top of your head properly. So just decide what works for you. I'm just going to adjust my blanket because it's too thick. Okay, so just getting that position, and all I want you to do is just practice being here, taking a breath. You can just practice being in this position. Maybe you practice just walking the feet in and lifting. Maybe, just maybe, you can lift 1 foot off and bring a knee to rest on the upper arm and the other, and come into a half headstand. Okay? See, I've got the mics muted and you could all be going, oh my gosh! But I just want you to do it in a loving way, okay? We're only going to be here for another minute. So bringing your hands, you can come back out of this. Again, I'll talk you through it. Hands come down to place in front of your blanket. It's quite nice to have padding. Eventually, you might not need it. Using that, lifting yourself up, tucking your head, bringing the crown of the head to the floor. Feeling that stretch in the back of the neck. This could be enough. Maybe you curl the toes under and you start to lift the hips. Maybe you come to here. Maybe, so we're only doing a half today, maybe you can lift knees up onto the upper arms. If you want to take a full headstand, you can start to lift the legs. And then wherever you are, see if you can point the toes. One more breath. Navel draws in. You might have surprised yourself and actually got here and been like, whoa. Okay, if not, that's also fine. Bring one foot down and the other. And everybody, move your blanket out of the way. Come into child's pose. Relaxing the head down. Relaxing through the body. So good for the mind. Really calming. Depending how you approach it and go into it, can be a really lovely way to just stimulate slightly, but adding that calm. From here, inhale. Slowly just roll up, maybe onto your knees. Again, if that's too much, use a blanket. Place it underneath. We'll just pause here just for a moment. Just notice that fizz through the body. Take a breath. So wherever you were, whatever you did, honor it, accept it. You can send me a message later if you want to. And just notice how you feel. Maybe just moving the neck left to right, chin, then to shoulder, chin over to the other shoulder. Just get a little bit of movement in here. And then moving your blanket out of the way. Hands come back to the mat, curl the toes under, and just start to lift the hips, walking the feet back towards the back of the mat, coming into our downward dog. Full breath. Exhale, bend the knees, slowly walking the feet towards the hands. If you have a block handy, grab your block, keep it at the front of your mat. So just coming into a bounce, but in a nice restorative way. So in this forward fold, bend the knees, soft knees, inhale, halfway lift. Navel draws in, really find softness here. Exhale, gently rolling back down. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Now, if you have a block, you can take the block with you now and hold on to your block. You can come a little bit further onto your mat. We're going to inhale, my block's in my right hand, reaching up with that right hand. Don't worry if you don't have a block. Exhale, just starting to fold forward, soften through the knees, bringing that block down to the earth, placing that block. Soft knees here, using this block for your roots, your foundation. You're going to inhale, start to lift that left foot and send it behind you. And then start to turn your left toes out towards the right. The block gives you a little bit more height instead of being down here this evening. So just taking that space. Turning those toes out, maybe that leg lifts level with the hip, maybe not, so don't worry too much. And then maybe this left arm reaches up also towards the ceiling. Don't worry too much. If you feel you need to keep your gaze down to the floor, do. Maybe you can start to turn your gaze out, maybe up towards the ceiling. So just a little bit of a balance. Okay, just I know, really tapping into that restorative flow. This also is a way just to connect, bringing the earth up a little bit higher. Exhale, release, bringing left foot down towards the floor. Release your hand off that block, coming into a forward fold. Pedal the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding back down, softening through the knees. Taking that block, inhale, reaching all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. So from here, again, taking the block in the left hand, just take that length. Exhale, folding forwards with that block. So the block comes down to the earth. Maybe your legs are straight, maybe they're bent here. Using the block for that height. You can keep your hand on your right hip here as you start to send that right leg behind you. Then start to turn the toes out to the right side. So we're turning that hip out, trying to keep those hips level. If for some reason this is too much, you can bend that front knee and just practice a balance here. Okay, this is all a balance in itself. So don't feel like you have to go the whole way. Try and find some softness. Maybe you keep your hand at your hip. Maybe you reach that right arm up. Maybe your gaze can go out towards the right side. Wherever you are, even though we have that lift through the inner arch of that left leg, try and find some softness here. Spiraling the heart open. One more breath. Exhale, folding forwards. Right foot comes down, folding down. Moving that block out of the way. Releasing the head. Take a moment. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Bringing your hands to the floor, stepping your feet back. Slowly and mindfully, downward facing dog. Just get a little bit of movement in here. And then exhale, lower the knees. So feel free again to have your blanket near you, towards the front, or if you've got a bolster, you can use that. Coming onto all fours. Just sending the left foot behind you, reaching it back, push away from the floor, but have some softness through the body, through the neck. On an exhale, we're going to bring that left knee all the way in towards the left wrist and sending that right foot out. So we're coming into a pigeon pose. Okay, so I'll just show you facing this way a moment. So this left knee is coming towards the hand, and then out, the heel is towards that right leg, and then we come down. Okay, so we're in this position. Coming into our pigeon pose, this blanket that you've got could be in front of you. Okay, we've been here before, so you can roll the shoulders back. Maybe this is enough. If you've got dodgy knees, okay, you can also bring these blocks and things to support you here underneath your hip, so you can take a bit of the weight through there. And you can start to fold forward. Maybe you're up on your hands, maybe one, maybe you can come here. Making sure you're not dropping everything in that right side, that the hips are level. Coming into our pigeon pose. Full breath. Great stretch for the hip flexors. For the back. Turning the mind. Take one more breath here. Then you're going to inhale, come up. Keep that left block, the block there if you need to. Left hand plants. Come up a little bit higher. Maybe bend that right foot. Maybe you just look back towards the right foot, and that's as far as it goes. Okay, it could be that you're looking and thinking one day you'll get there. Maybe you bring the right hand behind you and you start to hold onto that right foot and just bring it in towards the right buttocks. You're just starting to stretch. Try and have a little bit of height here, a little bit of space. Maybe relaxing through the face, anchoring down through that bottom leg, through that bottom foot, the left knee. Exhale, release. From here, you're going to come into a downward dog, so curl the toes under that right foot, stretch that left leg back, enjoy that stretch, pedal the feet, and then you can come down to kneeling and go into it the same way, or maybe you start to lift the right leg up behind you, and then you bring right knee in towards the right wrist, and then you arrive here in your pigeon pose on this side. Coming onto the top of that back foot, just notice how the body feels here. First of all, do you need to adjust? Do you need to bring a block to sit under this right hip? Decide what you need. Put a blanket there. Awareness through this right foot. Inhale, open up. Maybe you stay here and you just close your eyes. Maybe you can bring the palms to the floor. Take this pose to your appropriate edge, finding what works for you. Really allowing the breath to enter the body. Find some ease. So sometimes these poses are screaming at us that we just want to get out of them. And if that's due to pain, then do come out of them. They shouldn't be painful. That pain that's telling us that there's danger, okay? But they should be that in between where it can be a little bit intense, but the breath allows it to ease. So this is why we really focus on the breath. Those exhales allow these areas to soften. You can be active through that right foot, wiggle the toes if you need to. Taking one more breath here. Inhale, slowly rolling yourself up. And come back to child's pose if you want to, or come into this quad stretch where we start to bend through that left foot, reaching the left arm behind you, and then just gently bringing the heel of that foot in towards the left buttock. You can really open up through the chest, or you can just keep this a bit more restorative and have some ease, making sure you're looking after that lower back. Find the breath here, really settle in. Exhale, release. From here, just gently rolling over onto your right hip, just to allow you to spin your legs round. And then from here, we're going to come over onto our backs. So allow yourself to arrive. Always feels good, I think, when you come back down here after doing some yoga postures, some asana. So just notice, first of all, bringing the heels towards your bottom, hands down by your hips. That length through the spine, all the way up through the neck. So not tucking the chin too much, but also not having that space through the throat. So again, just imagine that you have an orange here under your chin. If you were to squeeze it too much, you'd burst it, you'd squish. And if you were to open up, the orange would roll away. We want that happy medium pose, that leg through the neck. Exhale first. Inhale, slowly rolling through the spine, starting to lift the hips up, chest starting to open, bringing the hands underneath the body if that's available to you. So you're almost like you're rolling the shoulders in towards each other, interlace the fingers, bringing the hands down to the floor. So you're pushing your hands into the floor and your chest starts to lift up towards your chin. Your chin doesn't have to do anything here. As your chest moves, the chin stays where it should. Taking another breath, full breath. One more, inhale. Maybe lifting the hips, the chest a little bit more. Exhale, release the hands. Release the hips down. Rolling the shoulders back out, allowing them to broaden. And then gently bringing the knees in towards the chest. Hugging them in. And then send that left leg long. Holding on to the outside of that right knee with the left hand. Right arm out to your side. And then just gently bringing that right knee across your body. Coming into this supine twist. Allowing your gaze to perhaps go to the right. Take a breath. Exhale. Slowly coming back through, releasing the right leg down. Bringing the left knee in and just repeating. Holding on to the outside of the left knee with the right hand, left arm comes out. Inhale here. Exhale, take that twist. Left knee over towards the right side. Gazing over towards the left. Relax, soften. Inhale, slowly coming back through. Releasing left leg down. And just allowing your feet to separate and just gently shake the feet out and in. So they're going out, in, and just pick it up a little bit, the speed up a little bit, just so you just get this nice shake through the lower body and it travels up through the whole of the body. Just shaking off, relaxing through the muscles, and then slow it down and come to stillness. Notice, again, that fizziness throughout the body. From here, we're going to come into our Shavasana, our relaxation pose. So feel free to grab a pillow to place underneath your head. Maybe a blanket for warmth, or if you want to, you can come up to seated. It's entirely up to you. Maybe you just stay where you are. Just allow yourself to be comfortable. And just take a moment to settle in here. So noticing the body, noticing how the body feels, noticing how the breath feels, and how that movement, that slow movement, even through the balancing poses, how using that breath to soften, how powerful it is. It's amazing that we don't use it enough in that way. And if you start to practice yoga a little bit more and have that at-home practice, you can really start to tap into the breath and allow it to nourish you and start to work for you a little bit more. So notice, settle in here, relaxing your face and your hands and your jaw and your lips, maybe just gently opening the jaw slightly, parting the lips. And again, this can be challenging to sit and be still or lie down and be still. The art of doing nothing. But let's just see if we are able to do this for now. So you are going to be here for about 7 minutes, maybe 10. So just settle in, get comfortable. For any point you need to move or transition, then do. And notice your breath. I want you to imagine that you are in a place surrounded by beautiful trees. So many trees. And you take a look around and you focus on one tree. And what does this tree look like? Its roots are secure and strong and intertwining all the way down to Earth's center, that connection, that stability through the trunk. But how does it look? Are there leaves on the tree? Is there blossom? Are there lots of branches? Is it tall? What type of tree is it? And then you notice two birds in the tree. One bird is loud, flying from branch to branch, making its voice heard. Its feathers bright, almost as loud as its voice. And it starts to eat the fruits or the berries on the trees, eating and gobbling as it goes, almost like it can't get enough. The sweet and the sour fruit. And when it's taken a bite, a nibble out of the sour fruit, it spits it out. It's not for him, so he continues to seek the sweeter fruit, flying from one branch to the other, making noise as he goes, in his own beautiful way. And then you notice another bird. He's really quiet. He's just sitting on a branch, observing, watching the busy bird flying around as he just sits there with the gentle breeze ruffling his feathers. He slowly bobs along the branch, finds a piece of fruit or berry, has a little nibble. He doesn't mind if it's sweet or sour. He just accepts it for what it is. The busy bird is our mind, doing, acting, flitting from one thing to another, one thought to another, having that no control, wanting that sweet fruit all the time, not accepting the sour. And the quiet bird is our heart, is our soul. Knowing that there are some things we can't control, eating the sweet and the sour, accepting either in their way, and knowing that both come together. The here and the now, and just accepting. In our lives, we have many times when we're really busy, and we are that busy bird flitting from one thing to the other. And I'm sure there are times where we are that quiet bird too. Just gently thinking back to the story of the man at the beginning of the practice who struggled to do nothing. Maybe you could find a time where you are that quiet bird, you are that man who is just lying there, just taking a moment to do nothing. That pure acceptance of here and now, of who you are, knowing that all is just as it should be, that you are loved and supported, and it's okay to do nothing. I'd like you to take 5 nourishing breaths. Wherever you are, taking one more deep breath in through your nose and a cleansing breath out through your mouth. Wherever you are, just gently start to get some movement, so you can wiggle your toes and your hands. If you're seated, you can gently start to just sway from side to side. And you can either stay in Shavasana on your mat if you would like to stay there, or you can roll over and slowly, gently, taking your time to move back up into a comfortable seat. Where we will gently bring our hands to our heart, Anjali Mudra. Take a full breath in and a full breath out, bowing our head to our heart, sealing the deal. Namaste.